Welcome back to the channel, guys. So it is, I don't know, I think it's about minus 20 right now, and it says it's minus 31 with the wind chill. It's supposed to get down to minus 26 tonight without the wind, so who knows what it's gonna be like with the wind. So this will be the coldest night that we have had, or that I have had so far in Lucky. Sorry, I'm banging my tripod thing against the dash and everything. Man, I'm out of practice. We just filled up the diesel tank because we got pretty low. I guess we're gonna be doing a little bit of discussion about the diesel heater in this video, even though it's not gonna be my overview of the install. I don't know if it'll ever come at this point. All right, we got our window blockers up, all that good stuff. Now it's funny because right now, like, it's cold outside, but I've been driving around for probably about an hour, so the cab's nice and warm. The living space I'm starting to feel is getting a little chilly. Penny, you're gonna wanna be in the back. She's on the dash. So this will be the first night. My plan is, and this could all change of course, but my plan is to run the diesel heater pretty much probably on high all night. I'll give you a little overview of my heating system and why that could be problematic for me. But right now I'm just gonna get it kicked on and deal with a few other things that I think might be issues. Yeah. Yeah, so it's not too cold back here right now. Sorry, the state of the van is damn. I'm still going through the process of throwing things out and organizing. Feng shuiing. Somebody's gonna say it's feng shuiing, Matt. Just like the whole Nochi Noki incident, which I do appreciate. The diesel heater, it runs all day for the cats, even when I'm not in here, right? So today, during the day, it wasn't too bad. I think we were at about minus 13, minus 14 degrees Celsius, but the wind is what makes it really bad. So I leave the diesel heater running on about 10 degrees, and I up that to about 15, probably around 3:30, just for them. And that keeps this area more than warm enough for the kitty cats. When I'm in here though, and as we get later into the night, it gets colder and it needs to be higher. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna bump it all the way up. This thing goes to 35 degrees Celsius, and we're just gonna start it there. Here's a couple of things that I've noticed following a couple other van lifers. Chrome, for example, says he just runs his on the high, on 35 degrees always. He never puts it on anything lower, and he's never had a problem with his diesel heater. And I've heard people say that other people have had problems with their diesel heaters because they run them on low, and then the exhaust builds up with carbon and they start backfiring and it causes a whole bunch of problems. I don't know if it's backfiring. On the flip side, Simon over at Foresty Forest, he says he finds it completely okay to run the heaters on low, provided that you run them for about 10-15 minutes on high before you boot them, or before you go to low. That's what I've been doing, and I haven't noticed any problems, although tonight we're gonna run it on high for as long as we can. The issue is, you can't see anything down there. Let me grab my flashlight, hang on. My vent I installed is right there, which is right next to my bed, which makes that area extremely hot, like unbearably so. Now you can adjust that vent. I can spin that vent so it's more pointed that way or the other way or straight down at the floor, which probably wouldn't be the best. I'm gonna try pointing it that way tonight, and hopefully some of the air goes underneath my bed and comes up and heats me from beneath, because I noticed last night that I was fine on top because I was under 2 blankets, but I was feeling a little bit chillier from the foam mattress. So we'll see how that works. But I have a feeling that running on high, it's still gonna make it unbearably warm. But I don't know. So anyways, let's get that kicked up and start this epic process. I also have to tonight, my plan is, like, what, Matt, it's gonna be so cold. Why is your hair done and you're not wearing a toque? Idiot. I am gonna do my 3,000 subscriber thank you video tonight. That's my plan. So hopefully I get that off the... You know what that means is that I just want it to look really nice and presentable for all of you, because there is plenty of videos where I am not done up. Not that I'm really done up. Okay, let's get it warm in here because it's starting to cool down quite quickly. Okay, so while it's kicking up right now, I'm sure most of you that are following the van life side of my channel probably are familiar with diesel heaters or Chinese diesel heaters or Webasto's, or there's another expensive model from Europe that I can't remember the name of. You turn it on, it goes through a whole process just like any diesel engine, where the glow plug, hang on, the glow plug has to warm up, I guess, and now you can hear it kicking on. And that clicking, unfortunately, is the fuel pump. This is a Chinese diesel heater. I got it off of Amazon. I did a photo shoot for my buddy and he paid me the right amount of money to buy one, so we did. The benefit to the Chinese diesel heaters and the reason they're so popular in van life is because even if this sucker breaks, it was $200 basically. If it breaks and I have to buy a new one, that's still only $400. I'm good at math. Whereas those expensive ones are closer to $1,500 or $2,000, I believe. Now, obviously, it falls under the category of you get what you pay for, but there's been lots of good reports of longevity for these Chinese diesel heaters. I mean, I've had my fair share of hiccups with it already. Like, the tank is horrible. My tank's right down here in between my cooler. I wanted to have it mounted originally inside my water station so I didn't have to see it. But when you get them, you have to drill a hole in the tank and add your pickup line, right? It comes with the valve stem and the O-ring and everything else. Then you attach the fuel line. It is a fairly simple install, but because of the small living space and where it's going, I didn't film my install because I knew there was going to be challenges before there even were any, and of course there were. So I wanted it inside, and when I drilled the hole, the way that the tank was oriented, the fuel pickup line was pointing down, and that way I would get the most amount of fuel. It would go to the bottom of the tank, and that would come in. I don't know if I did anything wrong, because I did find out after the fact that they are notorious for this, but in that position, with the pickup line on the bottom, it leaked everywhere. Not like a faucet being on, but it leaked diesel fuel onto the floor, which I'm like, well, that's no good. So instead of drilling a new hole and trying to patch that hole, I just flipped the bottle and brought it out here onto the outside, which put the pickup line this way, which is great. There's no more leaking. However, I'm not so sure you can see this, but yeah, from my pickup line to the bottom of the bottle, you got to understand that's how much fuel I never have access to. So I do have plans to fix this in the future by getting a bigger tank, because these 10-liter tanks that come with the heaters, at least when you're in the Alberta winter, not enough. And I also want to put the pickup line on the top with one of those rods that go all the way down almost to the bottom, but not quite, just enough above the bottom so that it doesn't suck up the sediment. Anyways, that's for a future entry. The other thing you have to do, if you don't know, is you have to drill 2 holes through the floor of your van, and then you've got the unit, the actual heater unit, which is hidden away down here. One of the reasons I haven't done my overview of my diesel heater video, although this is starting to feel like that. You drill holes through, and then you've got an air intake line that comes up into the heating unit and an exhaust out line. And actually here, you know what, we'll throw this here because I don't know if I'm ever going to get to the proper video. I did film some footage on how I solved a problem, because when I installed my diesel heater, my exhaust line goes into a little tiny silver muffler, and it ended up pointing directly at my rear tire. It's just the length of pipe that I had and where I put my heater. And before anybody says anything, well, why didn't you put your heater in a different spot? I specifically, from the beginning of my build, said that's going to be the spot where I put it. I'm shaking you all around, sorry. And I built the rest of the van around that's where the heater's going to be. So I didn't really have a choice. I kind of painted myself into a corner. And I could have gotten more, I guess, exhaust pipe and run it further into the back and near the like the van's tailpipe, but I didn't do that. I did this instead. I'm not sure where I'm going to put this, and I actually mean that this time, because this is going to be the official this is going to be the first official clip I record when it comes to my diesel heater. So I don't know if this will be how I open the video or if I'll insert it somewhere in the middle of the video when I get there. But this down here, I don't know if you can see that. Hang on, I'm gonna get my flashlight out. So this is the exhaust for the diesel heater. Sorry, I can get rid of the shadow of my phone. And if you can see, it's pointed directly at my tire, which hasn't been a problem up until this point. I don't know how backlit I'm going to be or whatever. Where's the light? There we go. It hasn't really been a problem. I don't know if it would end up being a problem, but it's pointed right at my tire. So you definitely start to smell the tire burning a little bit when I do turn the heater on. And as it gets colder, the heater's gonna be running at a higher temperature more frequently. And I don't know, might just be bad news bears. For now, I just came out of Princess Auto and I was able to find this guy. Now it's for I think just a regular like garden hose. There's just this little 90-degree joint. And here's what I want to do. So we're going to see if this even works. Flip this around, just put my flashlight down here. My theory was this would go inside. I don't think that's going to work. Oh no, it's too big. So I got to go back inside. But here's the theory. I'm going to put this inside and then use a C-clamp to clamp it down right like that. So let's go try and find, this is 3/4. I guess we're gonna have to try and get 1/2 inch, darn it. So that's the one I have, so I guess this is the one we need now. 1/2 inch. All right, let's hope. We're gonna fix you, Lucky. Your tire doesn't have to burn anymore, I hope. Hang on, let's see. I gotta get my light out again. Actually, wait a second. Haha, flashlight on the phone finally came in handy. Let's see. Oh, perfect. Well, perfect-ish. I need that clamp. Hang on. Should go. Oh, that's not malleable. That stinks. Okay, so back at Walmart for the night, didn't want to just let this go, and instead of returning this little joint piece or letting it go to waste, I was in there. I had to rip in to get some more cat food for Stella and Penny, and I went looking through the automotive aisle, and I found this stuff. I have heard of Spider Patch before. I have no experience with it, but it says it gets to repair cracks in your exhaust system. I should have remembered that end of the muffler was too strong to be, you know, manipulated by one of those little clamps. My bad, learn from my mistakes. That's how long it's been since I installed the diesel heater. What it would be ideal is to get another piece of actual, I guess, tail pipe, or just like the pipe that came with the diesel heater, and then cut it, because you could bend it into this shape and it would fit right on the exhaust, or sorry, on that end of the muffler. That may still end up being the case, but what we're gonna try right now is globbing a whole bunch of this goop around this end and then shoving it into the muffler, because we know that it fits. And it actually says on the back, sorry, my eyes are blind from the light on my phone. It says let set for 2 to 4 hours, added heat sets exhaust system sealer quicker. So that's perfect. We'll glob this on here, put it in, and we will crank the diesel heater. And the worst case scenario is it's gonna fall out overnight and I'll just pick it up off the ground in the morning before I leave. Let's give it a shot. Probably good enough. This is cool. I can just seal it this way too. All right, so I wanted to wait till there was some daylight out. Ran the heater all night. Started out 15 minutes on the highest setting, and then it was at about, I think, 15 degrees all night. So that was a good 8 hours of heat running through here, and this thing is in there nice and solid. It's not pretty because I couldn't get it cleaned up properly. That's fine. I'm not too concerned about it. It's keeping the exhaust away from the tire really well, and I've driven around a little bit already this morning, and it hasn't rattled loose, so might have a great success with this little jerry-rig solution.